Parents of special needs students in Clover School District are now calling for cameras in special ed classrooms after they say they have lost all trust with district leadership. This is after a former teacher's aide says she was fired for reporting the abuse of autistic children, and a father sends his son to school with a hidden recording device and catches something shocking in the process. For 3 months now, we've been investigating, and now the district is responding. It's all in tonight's Fox 46 special report.
Say party.
Party.
City. That's right. Good job.
Within just seconds of meeting these Clover parents, the love they have for their 10-year-old son, Will, is easy to see. Will is autistic. He's nonverbal, and he's being homeschooled.
Tuesday, right.
But up until a few months ago, he was a student right here at Lorne Elementary School.
Just because Will can't talk doesn't mean he can't communicate. And he communicated to us very clearly that something bad was happening at school.
Both Bill and Kim Britton tell me as soon as Will started at the school, he began suffering from anxiety and was acting out of character.
Well, most recently, he had been coming home very upset from school.
The Brittons sent dozens of emails to school leadership, made several phone calls, and requested in-person observations. They say they wanted some answers from Will's special education teacher.
During one of the observations, Will became physically upset. He started crying, he started having behaviors. I felt at that point he was telling me something was definitely wrong at school.
And the Brittons felt like they certainly had reason to worry. That's because 2 years ago, a teacher's aide at Lorne Elementary came forward with allegations that she witnessed Will's former teacher, along with her aides, abusing autistic children.
It bothered me so much that I had to speak up and say something that these kids can't speak up for themselves.
We were able to track down that former TA. She asked us for anonymity, but told us she had worked in Clover School District's special education program for 10 years before witnessing the alleged abuse at Lorne Elementary in February of 2014.
Just, a child being forced to eat something he didn't want to, and then when he had a mouthful, being put in the dark room to make him swallow it. Another child was in the shower, shivering, crying, very hysterically crying. There was an older child that was being made to do a worksheet, and because he was crying and tears and snot and stuff, they took his shirt off and had him sitting there doing the work without his shirt.
The former TA says her coworkers began treating her differently right after she came forward, and she was fired just a few months after she reported the allegations to district leadership. As a result, she's filed a wrongful termination lawsuit against Clover School District, where she alleges she was retaliated against for reporting what she saw.
If I did this, it was going to be hard on me, for speaking up.
You expected retaliation?
I did, and I felt like I got it.
Clover School District spokesman Brian Dillon says because of the TA's lawsuit, they cannot comment on why she was fired. But court documents state that the school principal accused her of not being able to do her job correctly. It says he also accused her of saying she could be vindictive. She denied this, saying she felt she was being treated vindictively. But the documents say the school took this as a threat, and she was terminated. Dillon told me that a district investigation found no evidence whatsoever to back up her claims of abuse.
We did take it very seriously, the allegations that were made, and really looked into the whole portion of the allegations to make sure that any abuse claims were thoroughly investigated.
But the Brittons felt those allegations were swept under the rug, and they wondered if something was happening to Will at school. So last year, on October 2nd, they decided to send him to class with a hidden recording device, and it captured something shocking. It begins when the class telephone rings, alerting Will's teacher that the Brittons are there to pick Will up from school. While Will is packing his bags, Bill says the teacher can be heard threatening his wife while speaking to a teacher's aide.
Okay. I know how hard and I work, and how hard you work, and how hard she works. This woman makes me mad. What are you looking at? Whatever. If I find her, I will do it. I will go to her house.
I had to replay it just to make sure that's what I was hearing. And my instant reaction was, it was an oh my God kind of moment that, all the allegations of abuse in the past coming out of that school, and sorry.
It was all said in front of Will and all of these other students with the assumption that they don't understand and with the assumption that they don't have the ability to go tell somebody that this is happening.
The Brittons immediately pulled Will out of the school district and filed a complaint about the apparent threat with administrators. Superintendent Mark Sosney responded with a letter saying the incident was thoroughly investigated and assured the Brittons that the district was taking appropriate action against a correct employee in accordance with the findings. However, in response to my Freedom of Information Act request, district documents show there are no records of discipline for the teacher or the age she was speaking to in that recording.
So regarding the audio tape, we agree that it was an inappropriate comment made in the classroom, and one that was taken and investigated very thoroughly and seriously.
The district tells me they weren't able to figure out who made the threat and that both women denied saying it. I asked the district why there were no records of discipline for either of them.
So after the investigation was concluded, it was an opportunity that we found to make sure that all parties involved and all district staff members understand the importance of professionalism at all time in the classroom.
In other words, they were given only a verbal warning.
Not surprised.
Not surprised because of our experience with the school district. It's not surprising. It's infuriating, but not surprising.
All right, so coming up next, we take a look at the district's own investigation into the past allegations of abuse of autistic students at Lauren Elementary School and why parents say what we found in these documents right here shows they were kept in the dark about what really happened. All right, welcome back. So after a special education teacher at Clover School District was apparently caught on tape making a death threat towards an autistic child's mom, our open records request showed the district took no formal action against her. As you're about to see in part 2 of our special report, parents say this lack of accountability made them question everything the district had told them in the past.
I was really afraid because of past allegations of physical abuse that's what was happening.
Did Clover School District cover up what really happened when a former teacher's aide claimed she witnessed abuse of autistic children at Lauren Elementary School? Bill and Kim Britton believe they did, and so do other parents.
When the allegations came out 2 years ago, in the back of my mind, I didn't think that they were handled appropriately. I was still nervous that things had happened to my son and other children in the school program.
Kim Garhart asked that we don't show her face, but told us she pulled her autistic son out of Clover School District last year after she says he started exhibiting severe behaviors while he was attending Lauren Elementary.
That he started regressing in the bathroom. He became terrified of the dark. He also would go into the bathroom and he would say, I'm okay, it's okay. And we couldn't figure out what it was. He started saying, no school. And not only just saying it, but he started like crying, uncontrollable, hitting himself. And so we just decided it was time.
Through an open records request, I got a copy of the district's investigation into the alleged abuse the former TA had reported. Though every single name was redacted, one teacher's aide reported that she saw a student forced to sit on the toilet for 90 minutes and that she saw a different aide flip a child out of a chair. She also told administrators a child was put into a closet to finish his food, that a teacher would use a timer to give the student 20 seconds to swallow, and if he didn't finish, he would be put in the dark. Another teacher's aide reported seeing a student allowed to fall out of a chair as a natural consequence for rocking in it. And a teacher said a natural consequence is to let the child fall. The documents also say a teacher put a child in a bathroom with the lights out as a negative consequence to get him to try new foods. When that didn't work, the teacher said she would try putting the child in the toy closet, which parents didn't know about. The TA who was fired also says that same teacher had a flashlight and said to a child, quote, "Do your work or I will turn this light off." Some aides reported seeing nothing done wrong and said they had no concerns about what was going on in the classroom. In a letter sent out to parents, the district's investigation concluded there was no mistreatment of students, that what the aides witnessed were isolated snapshots of teaching methods, and that there was no malice in the methods they used. The letter says the district gave follow-up training to teachers and assistants on positive behavior strategies. Kim Garhart and the Brittons tell me they were never shown the details of the district's investigation until I gave them the paperwork. And during meetings with the district, they say they were just told the allegations were coming from a rogue former employee.
We've spent years dealing with lies, deflections, misinterpretations.
Bill says because Will was in the accused teacher's class during the time these allegations came up, they believe they now know why he became deathly afraid of the dark, just like Kim Garhart's son. And the Brittons believe Will was one of the students purposely tipped out of a chair after they say he came home with a large lump on his head one day.
Will had been telling us all along something wasn't right. And we put our faith in the school.
As a parent of a child with special needs, your biggest fear is that someone will harm him or abuse him or take advantage of him, and you never imagine that that's going to happen at school.
Clover School District denied my open records request for the disciplinary records of the teacher accused of the abuse, citing her privacy rights.
At the time of the allegations, she was a very new teacher to the district. She's since been able to use the feedback from the allegations, turn that into, take that over to professional development and really flourish and become a good teacher.
Neither the teacher accused of making the death threat or the teacher accused of the abuse responded to my requests for their side of the story.
Something has to be done. Something has to be done. This individual or individuals do not belong in any classroom, let alone a special education classroom.
And as for the former TA, while she might be the one out of a job, she says she has no regrets whatsoever about reporting what she saw.
I'm not one to really fight back, but I told my husband, I said, I can't just let this go for the kids and for myself.
Now, the Brittons and Kim Garhart tell me since they've pulled their kids out of Clover School District, their severe behaviors have come to a stop. While their kids are no longer enrolled with the district, they are now calling for cameras to be installed in special ed classrooms. But Clover School District tells me it's not going to happen. That's because they say they don't feel it's necessary. Now, the district sent me a final statement this morning saying, quote, "The district stands by our decisions and openness with parents during the 2014 investigation. Abuse and neglect allegations were unfounded. The district kept classroom parents informed of the allegations, investigation, findings, and areas for improvement with written and face-to-face meetings. No parents have raised these allegations with the district since that time 2 years ago." Now, as you can imagine, there's a whole lot of information I was not able to fit into this story, so make sure to head on over to our website at fox46charlotte.com. That's where I'm going to be posting copies of the district's investigation, and you're going to see a very strongly worded statement from a prominent civil rights attorney about how he feels Clover School District handled those allegations of abuse.